time of year that you can't help but just look around you at all the things that are bursting into life. Plants seem to grow if you just look away from them. Birds are having their second or third brood, and crickets are doing their crickety thing. Hey there, Space Cats! It's me, Jules, your #1 fan of all things green, except snot or gangrene. I bring you an arty or indie publishing video every Friday to help you reach your goal if making books is your thing. To celebrate nature, I thought I would make a summer garden picture. So grab some pencils, something to colour with, and some paper, and draw along with me. First thing to do is to use my fine liner pen to make those black ink marks over the top of my pencil, and then going at warp speed, I am putting some wet paint down on the wet paper. One side of the shed is green and the other side I'm using more sienna and ochre. And I'm trying to get in the things that are furthest away from me first, so that's why I'm doing the background, and also the things that haven't got so much detail in them, like the path and the stones. And then on the left hand side of the picture where all those plants are, I'm going to do the underneath, the undergrowth of the plants before I start doing any details in the plants and flowers. When I was mentioning earlier the crickets, these 2 bits of wood are where my crickets hang out in the summer, and my grasshoppers. And this is literally the view that I have from my studio, minus a few bits of things that I would like to take to the tip and another washing line. And this triangular shaped border gets really filled up in the summer with lots of different plants, with currants and an ice plant that I got from my grandmother years ago, some roses and lots of geraniums. And then the old washing line, of course, has got my swimming costume on, which goes up there on a daily basis because at the moment I'm one of those annoyingly smug sea swimmer types. But really, honestly, I was the biggest wimp going in the sea up until this year. So it's doable. If I can do it, then I think anybody could, because I was so scared of going in the sea. Anyway, here's my apple tree. This is a Golden Delicious. I bought for my husband because he really likes Golden Delicious. I'm more of a Braeburn girl myself. But the tree's doing really well this year. It's got lots of fruit on it. And then the bird table, which the wood pigeons love. And that's a railway sleeper I'm just filling in there, which holds all that border together really nicely. So I'm trying to choose really bright colours for the details and the things that are in the foreground. And then the things that I want to disappear into the background, they are the more muted colours with lots of water in them. There's the little apples with a little blush of red on them from when they got the sun earlier in the year. So that actually is not a black I've made there, it's a combination between Van Dyke Brown and Payne's Grey. So it does make quite a good black colour, but then if you want to be less flat, just drop in some other colours, like I've used ochre and sienna there, raw sienna. In the front of the apple tree is a rhubarb, and then in front of that, the one I'm doing right now, is an acer. I'm hoping that that will actually one day go in a really massive pot and become a beautiful big tree. At the bottom in the centre there you can see my other bird feeder, and that's for the sparrows who live up in my roof. They absolutely love those long wire things. Here's the little wood pigeon. Wood pigeons are mainly grey, but they have this little flush of pinky, magenta-y purple on their chests. Time now for the rose leaves. I'm doing those sort of glossy dark green colour to make them stand out a bit more from the background. And that's the rhubarb leaves. They grow so massive if you don't pick the rhubarb, but then the rhubarb's not much good to eat, so you need to pick them while they're still quite young. Most of the garden there is, the path is made of concrete, so at one time we were going to brick over it, but we didn't quite get around to doing that. It's still something that might be done one day. And then some stepping stones up into my studio, and the other parts used to be grass, but I got fed up with having to mow it, so actually now they are stone, little bits of shingle and some larger stones just to line the path. Lots of different colours going into those stones just to make that the lively, or a lively part of the picture, because then that also draws your eye up towards that lovely border on the left hand side. And that's a sparrow, cheeky little chap. And then if you've got plants, of course you're going to need to water them, so here is a watering can. Actually, none of my watering cans are red. This is a bit of artistic license, just because I liked the feel of it over there in that sort of corner, that red part. And this is an Agapanthus, which has grown very large, and I think it's probably going to have to stay there, because when I tried to dig it out last year, it was not having any of it. I was going to move it. But I love Agapanthus, they're beautiful. And this one is a white one. You quite often see the blue ones. And then the rest of it, really much of it is geranium, wild geraniums, and geraniums that I've taken little cuttings from other people. And this bit is actually osteospermum, one of those plants that opens up when the sun comes out and then closes at night time. And then, of course, this is the blackcurrant bush. The blackcurrant bush of the year, because this makes the most amazing jam. If you've never tried homemade jam, I seriously recommend it. It's something else. Particularly if you made it and it's the middle of winter. Oh my gosh, I love food so much. I've got quite a few rose bushes in the garden. Not all of them you can see from this point, but the one that I am going to paint that's underneath where the wood pigeon is was actually a birthday present from my husband to me a few years ago. So it's probably in its third or fourth year now, and it's doing really well. It's a white one and it's called Mary Berry. It's nice to drop a few little bits of water into your paint as you're letting it dry, because it makes those beautiful marks, striations and textures. And not forgetting the little butterfly. Once all the painting has finished, what I'm going to do is get my colouring pencils out and just pick up some of those details. Once that's all finished, I'm actually going to just tinker with it just a teensy bit more, take a photo of it and let you see the finished result. If you'd like further artist tutorials, I have a variety of short courses that will help you. There are real-time sessions looking at painting, drawing and marker pens, among others. And if you're keen on producing your own book, there is a more in-depth course on what you need to know about self-publishing a book with illustrations. And that covers making key decisions, how to make layouts and dummy books, rhythm and pacing, as well as several tutorials on illustrating your book, and a look at the tech. You can either hop over to my website or join me on Patreon for more information. Go on, give it a go! There's something about drawing every day that just makes me think everything is going to be okay. In fact, better than okay, blooming great! Let me know in the comments how you're feeling today and if you can find a little bit of space in your day to feel blooming great too. Next week I am painting skies, and I think I might have already said that in an outro, so either I'm having a senior moment or I fell into a wormhole. Either way, I'm off to lick the middle out of a packet of custard creams and put the rest back in the cookie jar. I will see you next time. Nanu nanu!